Robot vacuums used to be a novelty. Yeah, they worked, but you couldn't really rely on them. Times have changed. Now we actually expect a robot vacuum to, perform its job. Even budget robot vacuums can do a passable job of cleaning up. Which is nice considering that most robot vacuums aren't exactly all that cheap. The good news is that the Roborock S4 delivers on nearly every front. Open up the box and the first thing that will catch your eye is the vacuum itself, as you may imagine. Alongside this, you'll also find the dock and power cable. These aren't the only things in the box though, as Roborock has included a few extras. You'll find a pair of manuals, one for the vacuum itself and one dedicated to pairing the vacuum with your phone via the app. You also get a multi-purpose cleaning tool and one replacement filter, which is nice to see included free of charge. What you won't find included is any sort of remote control. This vacuum is controlled entirely via the app. That's not a bad thing though. The new Roborock app can work on multiple devices, effectively giving you multiple remotes, which is very handy. The Roborock S4 has a fairly large dustbin, larger than a lot of robot vacuums I've seen. I'm not sure exactly how big it is because I can't find any figures on the website or in the manual, but it's definitely bigger than what you'll find on the Roborock S6, which costs more money. One downside is that the Roborock S4 doesn't have any sort of mopping functionality. On the other hand, that means there's more space available, hence the larger dustbin. The S4 is very solidly built. Unless it manages to somehow knock a heavy shelf over on itself, you shouldn't have to worry about any sort of accidental damage. Thanks to the LiDAR mapping, you shouldn't even have to worry about it taking an unexpected trip down the stairs. While all robot vacuums look a little alike, the Roborock S4 doesn't look much like any of its predecessors. Part of this is simply aesthetic, but part of it is practical as well. It looks super sleek with a shiny black design that somehow seems to avoid gathering dust even during the busiest jobs. The lid is now also semi-transparent, which lets you get a glimpse at the buttons underneath and also lets you see whether or not the dustbin is full without having to lift it up. To be honest, this is only actually useful on some rare occasions, but it's still nice to see. You can set up the S4 with Roborock parent company Xiaomi's Mi Home app and it will work just fine. That said, the new Roborock app has been redesigned and lets you control the vacuum from multiple devices, which is very handy. Download the app, sign in or create an account, and follow the prompts. That's all you need to get started in pairing mode. Then you just add your Wi-Fi credentials and let the vacuum connect to your network. From here, it can update itself and do all sorts of handy things. I ran into a few minor problems during setup, but nothing I haven't seen with other types of smart home devices. After the initial setup, every time I've used the app since, it has worked flawlessly. In the most basic sense, using the app is incredibly easy. If all you want to do is clean a floor of your home, just select the button labeled Clean, and that's it. Of course, you may not always want to clean your entire home or an entire floor of your home all at once, so it's handy that the app offers you a bunch of different options here. You can easily select a zone to clean, or you can spot clean a certain part of a room to clean up after a spill or other dusty event. The Roborock S4 also has a feature where it can learn your home's layout automatically. This means it can even partition a floor into different rooms. We'll look at this a little bit later. As the Roborock S4 moves around your home, it can get to know it. This is a feature we see in a lot of robot vacuums these days, but that doesn't make it any less useful. Every time the Roborock S4 cleans up, it takes note of its surroundings. This means you can move furniture without having to worry about completely resetting the S4 in order to relearn its environment. The map saving mode is currently in beta, but it seems to work just fine. Once you've enabled the map saving mode, you need to start the S4 from its dock. There it can learn the rest of your house. From here it works its way through your home, automatically partitioning different rooms on its own. If it doesn't partition properly, you can edit the map yourself. Once this is done, you can just tap on a given room to clean it. Now that sounds fancy, but honestly one of the most useful features of the S4 is that it can actually just make its way back to the dock on its own. The dock itself doesn't have infrared sensors, but it is heavy. This means when the Roborock S4 aims to charge, it can wiggle backwards into the appropriate spot. In my case, I did have to sort of prop up the dock from behind. I used a piece of cardboard just to allow the Roborock to back in and start charging. Still, that it was able to locate and seat itself in the dock every time is very handy. A vacuum that runs out of juice a few inches away from the dock isn't going to do anything useful for, well, anyone. I tested the S4 in my own home, which has medium pile carpet, and that's not always the friendliest to a robot vacuum. I also have 2 cats, one of which has long hair. Basically, this means that I was testing the Roborock S4 by sending it into a war zone. That said, I was impressed at how well it was able to perform. My advice for the S4 is something I'd say about pretty much any robot vacuum, and that's manually vacuum your entire house first, give it a good cleaning, and then let the Roborock or other robot vacuum just sort of keep your cleanliness meter topped off. Make sure to occasionally empty out the dustbin, and you should be good for a long time. Of course, since I was testing the vacuum, I followed none of my own advice. That meant that within the first few minutes of cleaning, it had picked up a significant amount of dust and hair. This means I also had to clean the dustbin out sooner than I normally would, but the Roborock did an admirable job cleaning up. Once I'd tested how thoroughly the S4 could clean, it was time to put the navigation to the test. I arranged chairs and other obstacles around a room and let it get to work. Somehow it made its way out every time. If nothing else, the Roborock S4 shows that a low price point doesn't necessarily mean poor performance. This model retails for $399 on Amazon. Yeah, that's more than a traditional vacuum, but you can easily make up for that in the time you save. The only caveat is that unlike more expensive robot vacuums, the S4 won't also mop your floors for you. This might be a deal breaker for you, but I sort of look at it as an advantage. I just want a vacuum to vacuum. Not having to top off the water reservoir is one less thing I have to deal with. Assuming you really need this feature, a more advanced model like the Roborock S6 may be perfect for you. Considering all that it does though and how well it works, the Roborock S4 is absolutely worth the price. There is so much to say about this vacuum that there's actually information in the article that isn't in this video. If you want to read it yourself, head over to the Make Use Of website. You can find a link down in the description. While you're there, you can also enter a giveaway to win the S4 for yourself. Now, if all you care about is the giveaway, I understand. Just head over to makeuseof.com/giveaways. When you get to the part about a video bonus question, enter Robot Overlords, all one word. Now, thank you to Roborock for supplying the unit for us to review, and as always, thank you for watching.